Hello, hello. I am back to help you do this thing called life. We are talking, well, Merry Christmas. Let me start out saying that. Merry Christmas. We have been talking about Jesus, his temptations, his emotions, his wisdom, his practices, everything that made him win because he won every time. And we're trying to see what we need to apply to our lives. And so today we find ourselves in John 15, verses 17 through 19. And I talked yesterday about how much I didn't realize just how much Jesus talks about love. And in the 17th verse, he says again that he commands us to love one another. Um, and then in the 18th verse, he says, just know that when the world hates you, they hate you. Just know they hated me first. And that it's like it's funny how, not funny, but it's amazing how he contrasts, in that 17th verse, he's talking about the love that we're supposed to have for one another. The very next verse, he says that the world, when it hates you, don't be shocked. Just know that it hated me first. And then in the 19th verse, he goes on to talk about how the world hates us because he called us out of the world. We were chosen out of the world. He said if we were of the world, they'd love us. But because we're called out of the world, that's why the world can't stand us. Um so there are a few things going on there. If the world is hating us, like he said, it hated him first. Don't feel isolated. But also, the world loves its own. So if you find yourself just always, it's one thing to be relatable. It's one thing um to show love. But if all things worldly love you immensely, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because the very nature of who we are as Christians, um, as Christ followers, our very nature sends the world and the world lovers into a tizzy. And so we need to know that he said we should love one another. Okay? So that's how you should know Christians. We should have this crazy love for one another. Love that overlooks things. Love because it says love will, how does it say? Love covers a multitude of sin. So even if we get offended by one another, we should love one another past it. And now we love those who are of the world, you know, because we're to love all people. But we just need to know the world ain't gonna love you like you love those people because the world hates a stand. The world hates a standard. And that's the word that he used, hate. Um, so if everybody's okay, like I said, we got to check ourselves because Jesus was no stranger to controversy. He would call it like it was, unapologetically. Okay. So in this love hate relationship, make sure you're on the right side. Make sure you're on the right side. But know that there should be somebody who's uncomfortable with the way you exemplify Christ. This has been One More Minute with Marcy. I'll be back tomorrow with another moment of momentum producing motivation. Until then, stay encouraged. And remember, you got to flutter before you fly. But flying is in your future. And I won't say it today. I will say it because it was kind of funny yesterday. Happy Merry Christmas. I love y'all.